The vast blackness of space stretched out endlessly before the alien fleet. Stars flickered like tiny candles in the distance, and the silence was deep and heavy. The fleet had been traveling for weeks, searching for new worlds and new species. Their mission was simple: explore, learn, and protect their territory from any threats. Commander Krell of the Yivrians stood on the bridge of the flagship Vorath, his eyes fixed on the large holographic display floating in the center of the queue room. The screen showed a strange object drifting slowly near an uncharted star system. It was large, heavily armored, and unlike anything the Yivrians had ever seen. "Sir," the sensor officer said, her voice steady but curious, "our long-range scanners have detected a massive ship. It appears to be armed and damaged. Its hull is scarred with battle marks, but it is still fully operational." Krell frowned. "What species is it? Are they hostile?" "We do not recognize this vessel or its technology," the officer replied. "No known species in this sector matches its signature." Krell tapped his chin thoughtfully. "Send a stealth probe. I want a full scan of the ship. Find out everything we can." The room was filled with quiet tension. The Yivrians were explorers, but they were also warriors when needed. They had faced many enemies before, but this human warship was a mystery. Why was it alone and damaged? What kind of species could build such a powerful vessel and survive so many battles? The probe launched silently into the darkness. It moved like a shadow toward the human warship, its sensors reaching deep into the ship's systems. The aliens watched the data flow in. The warship was huge. Its design was unfamiliar but strangely effective. The hull was thick, layered with materials the Yivrians had never seen. The ship had multiple weapons arrays, large cannons that could flash through the strongest shields, missile launchers, and energy weapons that hummed with deadly power. "What is this?" whispered one of the junior officers. "It looks old but also advanced." Krell nodded. "The humans have been at war for a long time. Their ships show it." The probe moved closer, scanning the ship's power core and shield generators. The aliens could see the systems were damaged but still functioning perfectly. The humans had repaired the ship many times, and it showed a kind of brutal resilience. Then the probe scanned the ship's outer defenses. The warship was covered with battle scars, deep scratches, scorch marks, even some dents where weapons had hit. But none of the damage had slowed it down. It was like the ship was alive and fighting back. The Yivrians had never seen anything like it. Usually, when ships were this damaged, they stopped fighting. But this human warship was still ready to fight, ready to kill if needed. Krell's voice was calm but firm. "This is no ordinary warship. It is a machine built for battle and survival. We must be careful." "Agreed, Commander," the sensor officer said. "Shall we attempt to communicate?" Krell shook his head. "Not yet. Let's learn more first." The probe began scanning the crew quarters and life support systems. It found humans inside, hundreds of them. They were tough, physically strong, and trained for combat. The probe even detected their heart rates and adrenaline levels. The humans were calm under pressure but ready to act at a moment's notice. "Fascinating," said the science officer. "Their bodies are stronger than we expected. They can survive extreme injuries and continue fighting. Their biology is built for war." Krell's mind raced. The Yivrians were warriors too, but their soldiers often fled when the battle turned deadly. These humans seemed different. They fought not only with weapons, but with a fierce will to survive. The probe moved on to the ship's combat logs and battle history. The data was brutal and raw. The humans recorded every fight, every loss, every victory. They did not hide their pain or fear. Instead, they accepted it as part of their lives. "They fight with passion," said the tactical officer. "They do not just want to win, they want to prove something." Krell leaned forward. "Prove what?" "Their strength, their courage, their will. They see war as a test of their spirit." The room was silent for a moment. The Yivrians had never thought of war that way. To them, war was a necessary evil, something to end quickly. But the humans, they seemed to live for it. Suddenly, the probe detected a change inside the human ship. The crew was preparing for battle. Shields rose, weapons powered up, and alarms began to sound. "They know we are here," the sensor officer said. Krell nodded. "Prepare our defenses. This might be the start of something dangerous." The aliens watched the human warship as it slowly turned toward their fleet. The ship looked battered, but it moved with purpose and strength. It was clear the humans were ready to fight no matter the cost. Krell's thoughts were heavy. This was not just another enemy. This was a race that thrived in chaos, that welcomed pain and battle as part of their identity. "What do we do, Commander?" asked one of his officers. Krell looked at the glowing stars beyond the viewport. "We watch, we learn, and if they attack, we show them why the Yvrians do not back down." The probe continued its scan, sending more data back to the alien fleet. The mystery of the human warship was far from solved. But one thing was certain: whatever this race was, they were terrifying, and they were coming for a fight. The stealth probe floated silently in space, inches away from the human warship's thick armor. Inside the alien flagship Vorath, the Yvrians stared intently at the data streaming from the probe. Every moment brought new details about the mysterious ship, its power, its crew, and its strange technology. Commander Krell rested his hands on the console. "Continue the scan. We need to know everything about this ship." The sensor officer nodded and directed the probe to scan deeper. The probe's sensors pierced through layers of metal, shielding, and energy fields. Inside the warship, the aliens discovered complex systems far beyond their expectations. The warship's engine room was unlike any they had seen. Instead of a single power source, it had many small cores, each fueling different parts of the ship. These cores worked together in perfect harmony. When one core was damaged, the others took over without missing a beat. This gave the ship incredible endurance in battle. "It's a smart system," the science officer explained. "If part of the ship is hurt, the rest keeps fighting." Krell nodded. "That explains why the ship is still moving despite all the damage." The probe moved on to the shield generators. The aliens watched in awe as the ship's energy shields flashed on and off rapidly. Unlike their slow and steady shields, the human ship's shields regenerated in seconds. It was a constant cycle of damage and repair. "They never stay down long," said the tactical officer. "They heal fast." Suddenly, the probe's sensors detected movement on the ship's surface, drones and automated turrets activating. The humans had set up defenses beyond the main weapons. Small, fast-moving machines flew near the hull, ready to attack any intruders. "These drones are highly advanced," the sensor officer said. "They protect the ship from probes like ours." Krell frowned. "We must be careful. The humans' defenses are not just powerful, they are smart." The probe slipped inside the ship, reaching the command center. Here the aliens found the brains of the warship, advanced artificial intelligence systems supporting the human crew. The AI monitored everything: weapons, shields, engines, and even the crew's health. "The AI adapts quickly," said the science officer. "It learns from every battle and improves the ship's performance." Krell leaned closer. "This is more than technology. It's a living war machine." The probe then scanned the human crew. It found hundreds of soldiers inside, each one trained for combat and survival. The aliens studied their bodies carefully. Humans were stronger than the Yvrians expected. Their muscles were tough and their bones were denser. The probe even detected rapid healing in some injuries. "This species can recover fast," the sensor officer noted. "They keep fighting even after serious wounds." Krell was impressed but also uneasy. A race that does not fear pain or death. This is dangerous. Next, the probe reached the ship's armory. Rows of weapons and ammunition filled the rooms. The humans were prepared for every kind of fight: long-range missiles, plasma rifles, explosive grenades, and even hand-to-hand combat gear. The aliens realized the humans fought at many levels, from vast space battles to close-quarters fights on ship decks. The human soldiers were ready for anything. The probe scanned the human psychological profiles stored in the ship's database. It found detailed records of every soldier's training, missions, and combat experiences. These logs showed something strange. The humans welcomed challenges and pain. They saw war not just as survival, but as a way to grow stronger. The humans use war as a test of will, the tactical officer said, reading the logs aloud. They push themselves beyond fear, pain, and loss. Krell was quiet for a moment. They fight with a fire in their hearts that we cannot understand. Suddenly, the probe picked up a warning signal from the human ship. The crew had detected the probe and was trying to find it. The aliens knew their presence was no longer a secret. We must withdraw the probe, Krell ordered, his voice steady. No, the sensor officer said quickly. We need more data. The ship is powering up. It looks like they are preparing for battle. The alien fleet braced for what was coming next. Inside the human warship, the captain stood in the command center. His eyes were sharp and focused. He knew the probe was there, a silent watcher in the dark. But he did not fear it. Instead, he saw it as a warning. Enemies were near. Raise the shields, he commanded. Power up all weapons. Prepare for combat. The crew moved with precision and speed. Every soldier was ready. The human warship was wounded, but it was far from defeated. Back on the Vorath, the aliens watched the human ship turn slowly to face them. Its engines glowed brighter, and weapons hummed with deadly energy. Krell's voice was calm but firm. This is no longer a simple encounter. The humans are ready for a fight. The alien officers exchanged nervous glances. The human warship's power and resilience were unlike anything they had seen before. We must decide, Krell said. Do we engage, or do we retreat and rethink? The probe continued to feed data about the ship's systems, weapons, and crew. The aliens learned that the humans did not just survive, they adapted, improved, and thrived under pressure. They are not like any enemy we have faced, the tactical officer warned. Their will to fight is frightening. Krell's eyes narrowed. If we attack, we must be prepared for a brutal battle, but if we retreat, we risk letting a dangerous enemy grow stronger. The crew waited for his decision. The stars outside twinkled cold and distant, but inside the flagship the tension was thick. The probe transmitted one final set of data before Krell made his choice. We stay, he said quietly. We face them. We learn what makes humans so terrifying. The Yevrians prepared their fleet. The human warship waited, scars shining under the distant stars, ready for the coming clash. The universe was about to witness something new, a war unlike any other. The alien fleet floated quietly in the vast darkness of space. The steady glow of distant stars lit the cold metal hulls of their ships. Commander Krell stood on the bridge of the flagship Vorath, eyes locked on the live feed from the stealth, probe still close to the human warship. The probe was deep inside the enemy ship now, scanning every corner, every secret hidden within the human vessel. The aliens had learned much already. The human ship was a fortress, built for war, full of advanced weapons, strong shields, and a crew that seemed fearless. But now, as the probe dug deeper, the Yevrians began to discover something far more disturbing, something that chilled them to their core. The probe's sensors reached the ship's battle logs, and what it found was unlike anything the aliens had ever seen. The logs were filled with detailed records of fight after fight, not just descriptions of weapons used and enemies defeated, but personal accounts of the crew's thoughts, feelings, and fears during battle. The humans did not hide their fear or pain. They wrote about it openly, but in a way that confused the aliens. They talk about pain like it is a friend, said the science officer, her voice filled with disbelief. They say they welcome the pain, grow stronger through suffering, and find glory in sacrifice. What does this mean? Commander Krell frowned deeply. They do not fear death, do they? No, the tactical officer answered. They embrace it. It is part of their spirit. The alien crew exchanged uneasy glances. Their species valued life above all else, avoiding pain and death whenever possible. But these humans were different. They seemed to see battle as a test of their very soul. The probe continued scanning psychological profiles stored within the human ship's systems. It found training programs that pushed soldiers to the edge of endurance. The humans had rituals where they faced pain and hardship to prove their courage. Some even volunteered for missions with near-certain death, not out of recklessness, but out of pride. "This is terrifying," said the sensor officer quietly. "They are not just survivors. They are warriors who seek out war." Krell's jaw tightened. "They fight with an unbreakable will. Their minds are wired to never give up." The probe revealed more disturbing details. The humans had developed ways to override fear and pain with sheer willpower. They trained themselves to keep moving, keep fighting, even when their bodies were broken. Their culture celebrated those who endured the most, honoring their sacrifice as the highest form of bravery. The aliens had always believed intelligence and technology would decide battles. But now they saw that for humans, the greatest weapon was their relentless spirit. "Look here," said the science officer, pointing at the screen. The probe showed records of a single human soldier who had been severely injured during a battle. Despite broken bones, severe blood loss, and exhaustion, the soldier had refused to surrender or retreat. Instead, he had rallied his team, led a counterattack, and won the fight. "This is madness," whispered a junior officer. "Why do they do this?" The tactical officer replied grimly, "Because they want to win at all costs. Because they believe giving up is worse than death." Commander Krell nodded slowly. "We must warn the fleet. This is not just a ship or a crew. This is a force driven by a will that we cannot easily break." The probe then accessed the human ship's communication logs. The aliens heard transmissions between crew members. Voices calm but firm, filled with determination. "We do not run," said one human voice. "We stand and fight. Every scar, every wound, is proof that we are stronger." The alien crew listened in silence. They realized the humans saw battle not as destruction, but as creation, forging themselves into something greater through struggle. Krell's mind raced. The Yivrians had fought many wars but never faced an enemy who welcomed pain and death as tools of power. The humans' willingness to suffer made them unpredictable, almost unstoppable. Suddenly, the probe detected movement inside the human warship. The crew was preparing for something more than defense. They were getting ready to attack. "The humans are not afraid of us," said the sensor officer. "They are eager to fight." Krell's voice was steady but low. "This changes everything. The humans are not just survivors, they are predators." The alien fleet scrambled to ready their weapons and shields. The Voreth's captain ordered the engines powered up and weapon systems activated. The tension was thick. The stars outside seemed to hold their breath as two very different forces prepared to clash. Back on the human warship, the captain looked at the approaching alien fleet through his viewport. He saw their massive ships, their weapons, and their shields, but he felt no fear. Instead, he smiled. "This is what we were made for," he said quietly. "We do not run from war. We fight. We win. We survive." The humans moved as one. Their warship hummed with deadly energy. The scars on their hull were marks of honor, proof of battles won and lives given. Commander Krell took a deep breath. "Prepare for contact. This will be a battle we will never forget." The probe pulled back just as the human ship powered up its engines. The aliens could see the warship's massive weapons charging, ready to fire. The Yivrians faced a terrifying truth. This was no ordinary enemy. The humans were a storm of fury, pain, and unyielding will, and they had only just begun to fight. The tension in space was thick enough to cut. The alien fleet floated in formation, weapons charged and shields up, watching the human warship slowly turn toward them. Commander Krell felt the weight of the moment settle on his shoulders. The humans were no longer just an unknown species. They were a looming threat, a force ready to fight with everything they had. On the bridge of the human warship, Captain Elias stood tall, his eyes sharp as steel. The flickering lights of the control panels cast a glow on his determined face. His crew worked quickly and silently, each knowing their role in the coming battle. They were tired, battered from previous fights, but their spirit was stronger than ever. "Status report," Elias called. "Shields at 85%, Captain. the shield operator replied. Weapons are online and charging. Engines at 50% warming up for full power. Good, Elias said. Prepare for countermeasures. If they attack, we hit back hard. The human warship was far from perfect. Its hull was covered with scars from battles past. Sections had been patched and repaired in space. But Elias and his crew knew something the aliens did not. Their strength was not in perfect technology alone, but in their refusal to quit. Back on the Vorath, Commander Yaomior, Krell and his officers monitored the humans carefully. The alien fleet's long-range scanners showed the warship was powering up its main weapon systems. Commander, said the tactical officer, voice tense, the humans are ready to fight. Their weapons are charging faster than expected. Maintain formation, Krell ordered. Do not engage unless they fire first. The silence stretched as the human ship moved steadily closer. The probe transmitted data on the human ship's weapon types and firing patterns, showing a mix of energy beams, missile launches, and electronic countermeasures. The humans had built a warship that was flexible, fast, and deadly. Suddenly, alarms rang out on the Vorath. Sensors detected a burst of energy from the human ship, a warning shot. A bright beam sliced through the void, narrowly missing the alien flagship. They've fired, Krell said, eyes narrowing. Return fire, the tactical officer shouted. The alien fleet responded instantly. Cannons blazed, missiles soared through space, and shields flared as beams crashed into them. The battle had begun. Despite being outnumbered, the human warship moved with surprising speed and precision. It dodged incoming fire, weaving through the alien ships with practiced skill. It launched missiles in rapid bursts and fired energy, weapons in sweeping arcs. Keep up the pressure, Elias ordered. We fight to the last man. The alien commanders were shocked by the humans' aggressive tactics. The warship was damaged but still fighting like a wild beast cornered. They never retreat, muttered the tactical officer. They just keep coming. The human crew's determination was almost frightening. Despite the hits the ship took, the humans stayed calm and focused. The ship's AI adapted to the alien attacks, rerouting power to shields and weapons instantly. Captain, the weapons officer called. Enemy missile incoming. Elias nodded sharply. Deploy countermeasures. Fire the flak cannons. The human warship's flak cannons roared, creating a cloud of debris that shredded the missiles mid-flight. The crew cheered quietly, knowing every small victory counted. Meanwhile, the alien fleet adjusted their strategy. They tried to surround the human ship, cutting off its escape routes. But the humans anticipated this. The warship launched small drone fighters that swarmed the aliens, disrupting their formations. They're using drones now, Krell said. The humans fight on multiple fronts. The battle became a chaotic dance. The aliens had more ships and firepower, but the humans had willpower, skill, and relentless aggression. Hold the line, Krell commanded. Focus fire on their engines. Elias saw the incoming fire and grimaced as explosions rocked the ship. Sparks flew and alarms blared, but he did not falter. We are not done yet, he said firmly. Prepare for a full counterattack. The humans fired their main battery, a powerful beam that cut through the alien shields. Several enemy ships were hit and sent spinning into the void. The aliens scrambled to respond, but the humans pushed forward. The warship's crew shouted orders, moved with swift precision, and faced the overwhelming odds with courage. For the first time, the Yavrians felt fear. Commander Krell gripped the edge of his console. The humans, they are more dangerous than we thought. Their will to fight is unlike anything we have seen. The tactical officer nodded grimly. They do not just survive battle, they thrive in it. As the fight continued, the humans began to use the environment to their advantage. They maneuvered near an asteroid field, using the rocky terrain as cover. The alien fleet struggled to keep formation and avoid collisions. Captain, the science officer warned. The asteroid field is unstable. It could break apart at any moment. Elias smiled. Good. Let nature join the fight. Suddenly, the asteroid field erupted as explosions rocked the area. The humans fired missiles that triggered a chain reaction, sending large rocks hurtling into the alien ships. The aliens were caught off guard. Several of their ships were damaged or destroyed. "This is madness," one officer gasped. "They use the environment as a weapon." "Yes," Krell said. "The humans think differently. They turn everything to their advantage." The battle raged on for hours. Both sides took heavy losses, but neither was willing to give up. The humans' scars and wounds seemed to fuel their fury. "Hold your ground," Elias said, voice steady. "We fight for every inch of space." In the alien fleet, fear began to spread. They had underestimated the humans. The warship was not just a machine of war, it was a symbol of a species that refused to be broken. Krell's mind raced with possibilities. Could they defeat such a relentless enemy? Or would this battle be the start of a long, brutal war? He knew one thing for sure. The humans had shown their true strength. They were not just survivors, they were warriors born for the fight. And the universe would never be the same again. The battle between the alien fleet and the human warship had lasted for hours. The cold blackness of space was broken by flashes of energy beams and explosions. Both sides had taken heavy damage, but neither was willing to give up. The humans fought with a strange energy, a burning will that made them dangerous beyond their technology. Commander Krell stood on the bridge of the Vorath, his eyes tired but focused. The humans had pushed his fleet to the limit. Ships that had once moved as a single unit now drifted apart, damaged and vulnerable. But Krell knew the fight was far from over. "Commander," the tactical officer reported, "our main battleships are crippled. The humans' aggressive tactics have forced us to retreat, but their warship is also badly damaged." Krell nodded slowly. "Good. We will press the advantage. But be cautious. These humans are not like any enemy we have faced before." Meanwhile, on the human warship, Captain Elias paced the command deck. His ship had taken serious hits. The hull groaned under the strain of repairs. Yet the crew was calm, focused, and ready for the next phase of the fight. "Prepare for boarding," Elias ordered. "We will take the fight to them." The crew worked quickly to ready the assault teams. Small ships were loaded with soldiers, weapons, and equipment. They would launch into the alien fleet and strike directly at the enemy vessels. "This is risky," warned the weapons officer. "The aliens have powerful defenses." "We have no choice," Elias said firmly. "If we want to win, we must be bold." The assault ships launched from the human warship like swarms of angry hornets. They sped toward the alien fleet, dodging fire and weaving through debris. Commander Krell watched the incoming assault and knew it was a critical moment. The alien ships could repel the boarding parties if they worked together, but the humans fought with surprising skill and courage. "Deploy anti-boarding measures," Krell ordered. "Do not let them reach our ships." Despite the defenses, some human assault teams made it aboard the alien ships. The battle became brutal and personal, close quarters fighting in narrow corridors and control rooms. The aliens were strong and trained, but the humans fought with a wild determination. They pressed forward, ignoring pain and injury, pushing the aliens back step by step. In one alien ship, a human soldier named Marcus led a team through the corridors. They moved swiftly, disabling systems and taking control of key areas. "Keep moving," Marcus said. "We're here to end this fight." The aliens struggled to fight back, but the humans had a strange energy that made them nearly unstoppable. They did not fear death, and their pain seemed to give them strength. Back on the Vorath, Krell received reports of the boarding actions. The alien ships were losing control one by one. The humans were winning in hand-to-hand combat despite being outnumbered. "This is madness," Krell muttered. "They fight like demons." Suddenly, the human warship fired a powerful blast of energy at the alien flagship. The beam struck the Vorath shield, weakening it. "Focus fire on the flagship," Krell ordered, his voice urgent. "We cannot lose our command ship." The aliens concentrated their remaining weapons to defend the Vorath. The human warship moved in closer, ready to deliver a final blow. Inside the flagship, the human assault teams reached the bridge. They fought past the alien crew, disabling weapons and taking control. Captain Elias stood in the bridge doorway, his face calm but fierce. "This ends now," he said. Commander Krell looked up, surprised but unafraid. You are brave, he said. But this war is not over. Elias shook his head. Not for us. We fight for survival, for our future. With a final burst of energy, the humans disabled the alien ship's systems. The Vorath powered down, its crew surrendering. The alien fleet retreated into the darkness, defeated but alive. Captain Elias looked out into space. The battle was won, but the war was far from over. The humans have shown their true strength, Elias said. We fight not just with weapons, but with heart and will. Commander Krell watched the humans disappear into the stars, knowing one thing for sure: the universe had changed forever.